To East Hampton Village Board, we are live.
All right, thanks everybody. Today is May 23rd, 2025. Welcome to East Hampton Village Board meeting. If you could stand for a pledge. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thanks everybody. So we've got a bunch of things on for today. So let's start with roll call first.
Mayor Jerry Larson.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Chris Minardi.
Here.
Trustee Sandra Melendez has an excused absence. Trustee Carrie Doyle.
Here.
Trustee Sarah Amadon.
Here.
Administrator Marcos Balladrone.
Present.
Village Attorney Lisa Perillo.
Here.
Great, thank you. So I just want to make a couple of announcements. Got some exciting things happening in the village. So Main Beach, again, scored in the top 10 beaches in the United States. We're still trailing Cooper's Beach in Southampton, so the mayor and I in Southampton Village have this ongoing battle, but so far he's winning. So that's still a big deal, though, to be the top 10 in the United States. We're actually number 5. I don't know if it's ranked that way, but it appears to be. Cooper's Beach was number 1, and we're number 5 out of the 10. So
We were 6 last year.
yeah, we're 6. So we're inching our way up.
2 of them are not in the continental United States.
Right, Hawaii.
I've been to those beaches in Hawaii. They're not that nice.
No. One beach in Naples we saw.
That's right, Naples.
That was we do an annual trip to Naples, so that was fun.
You can write it off now.
Yeah, we're inspecting those beaches.
That's right.
So.
Travel and training.
So a couple more announcements. We are going to have a special board meeting on June 5th. Our next regular board meeting will be Wednesday, June 18th. So that's a change.
Special meeting.
We're really happy to announce we are planning for a block party, our second block party on Newtown Lane. It'll be Friday, June 13th, if the New York Knicks get into the final playoffs. So everybody should be watching this round of playoffs, which game 2 is tonight, and hope that the Knicks get in it. If they do, then we'll do the block party on Newtown starting around 6 p.m. on Friday the 13th. Wanted to announce some grand openings. We had the Hedges Inn under new ownership with a great new restaurant. They opened. We also had a really fun opening yesterday. It's called the Card Vault by Tom Brady. And Tom Brady, who's, by far one of the greatest football quarterbacks ever, came to the opening. We had probably 300 to 500 people in the park and in front of the store, and he signed autographs, threw out footballs, and the kids were going crazy. So that was a lot of fun. Let's see, the East End show, which is sponsored by created by News 12. They did their kickoff of their second season, was held at the Maidstone Hotel. It's a really good show. It's on, it really highlights all of the great businesses on the East End on both forks. So you should really check that out. That's on Saturdays and Sundays at 9:30 in the morning on Channel 12. And you can really see some great places that are fun to go and explore. So enjoy that. We have the Memorial Day Parade Monday, starts at 10 a.m. The following week, we have our annual Pride Parade, which will be Saturday, June 7th. That starts at noon. We have the Farmers Market. The foundation, the Village Foundation, sponsors a Farmers Market, which is now every Friday from 9 to 2. They also have free exercise class on Friday in the park at 11:30. They also offer free yoga at Main Beach starting tomorrow and every Saturday for the summer at 8:30 a.m. And then finally, I wanted to announce the retirements of our very famous building inspector, Tom Prieto. Congratulations, Tom. And John Capizzola, who's not here in the audience, but he just retired from our dispatch center. after 20 years of service to the community, so we thank him. Give him a round. All right, that wraps up all my advertising. So now we're going to jump into a presentation from our historian, Hugh King.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I hope some of you had got to see and smell the wisteria at Home Sweet Home Museum. And I want to thank Tony from the DPW. He takes care of that every year, and it's spectacular. Also, the John Marshall's students have been coming to Home Sweet Home and to the Mulford House and to the windmills. So I want to thank Stacy Myers for her work there and the teachers at John Marshall who are sending their students to local historic places. Hello, we have so many. And the East Hampton Historic Society is working with all the area schools, teaching the history of our town, okay? All right, today it's Glenn Stomens, Village Police Chief. A member of the East Hampton Village Police Force for 23 years, and its chief for 30 more, Glenn Stomens oversaw the department during decades of a tremendous change in the village. During his watch, there were 2 presidential visits and 3 by vice presidents, not to mention those by prominent judges, foreign diplomats, senators, and out-of-state governors protected by the United States Marshal and Secret Service agents. He handled arson cases, burglaries, drug busts, and 1 homicide, but never had to fire his gun in the line of duty except at an animal. Chief Stomens was born in Amagansett, the only child of Glenn Stomens and the former Nancy Rayner. He graduated from Amagansett Grade School and was a member of the East Hampton High School class of 1956. And at one time, the town police chief and the village police chief were both graduates of Amagansett Grade School. Tommy Scott was a longtime town police chief. Mr. Stomens joined the staff at Lester Motors as a service manager in high school. Maintaining police cars that the company leased to the village, he became friendly with a number of police officers. And when the flu epidemic hit the department in 1969, he took a second job as dispatcher. Looking back on his career in 2000, he said the most interesting case was the investigation into a fire at the Gardner Brown house, in which an elderly man and his dog were killed. There was an intense investigation, but we were never able to bring it to a successful conclusion. Another unsolved case in 1973 involved Mr. Stomens himself. He was closing in on an arrest in a drug investigation, and just before he finished the shift at midnight, his car was firebombed in the Schwank parking lot off of Newtown Lane. He convinced the mayor to buy computers for the police department and help write a program to computerize the police logs. And I think Chief Erickson has a wonderful story about his first meeting with Chief Stomens. Do you mind if he comes up in the cell?
No, I love the story.
Yeah, okay.
Let's hear it again.
Well, Hugh, you're looking for a little competition. Are you getting ready to retire? So for me, I've been here 34 years, and my first experience in the village of East Hampton. I didn't grow up out here, and it was, I believe, my first time out here. It was the summer of '91. That's where my career started, with a long-standing injury that I will get to shortly. So I came out here as a candidate off the civil service list, as we still do. There were no local talent left, so they had to go to the county. And lo and behold, I was one of those that were chosen for an interview. At that time, actually, Mayor Larson did my background investigation and moved me through to be a police officer. So the day I came out here in the summer of '91, I met with the chief at that time and his executive officer, Lieutenant Randy Saris. And we had a nice meeting, went over my resume, and it was very pleasant. And then the chief told me come on, kid, let's take a ride. You've never been out here. And we went for a ride around the village, the jurisdiction, to kind of show me what the village was like. And we got in his car and we were going all over, and we hit the summer colony. And it was at one point when we were coming up Bating Hollow Road to the intersection of Woods Lane and 27 there at the Getty Station, as we know, Exxon Station now. As I was looking around, all of a sudden, he goes through the intersection to go over to Toilsome, and we get T-boned. We get hit by a vehicle, and I didn't even see it coming. And the driver's rear quarter panel got hit. And he said, "Do you see the car?" I said, Chief, I didn't see it. And I didn't know if the light was green or red. I think the light was red at that time. But and then lo and behold, the troops started showing up. I think Lieutenant Brown was the first on scene. And that was my first experience. The injury to C2 and C3 is long lasting. It is documented, and I'm told it'll be a payout at the end. But that was my first experience here. I got into a 10, we call it an accident with the chief. So then I thought, right, this is a good place to work, right? What else could happen? So that was my, God rest his soul. He was a great man, a great chief. And that was my first and of many probably stories I've had with him. But he was a good man, and brought this department ahead of ages from when I started. I was the last class to start with the .357 revolver, and then finally he was a big proponent of the revolver. And he didn't want to go to these Glock automatics. And then finally the county said, we're not doing 2 courses for you. So he forced us into the age where we should have been with the semi-automatic. But he brought computers, as the mayor, as Hugh said, he brought us into this building. He was the first chief in this building. So God rest his soul. He was a good man. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. I'm going to jump away from the public hearings and the board discussion.
I have a question for you.
Oh, for you. Hugh, we have a question for you.
You have a question for me?
I do, Hugh. I was had a meeting with Marcos this week, and we were discussing the Main Beach Pavilion and some upgrades. As many know, we're going to redo the roof, and we're doing some work at the Sea Spray. And there's a lot of old pictures circulating with a 3rd story and other renovations. So we were asking who would know how many times that pavilion was renovated, and was it renovated where it was totally replaced, or was it just kind of piecemealed together?
Good question.
Some homework for you.
Okay, I'll get on it. I gave a summary of, I have a little summary of Main Beach I gave to trustee Amadon.
I have the summary, but the summary doesn't
say.
When,
all right, yeah, we can go to the archives of the paper and maybe the village records. And you want to know how many times it was
renovated, and was it completely renovated, or was it just, a little here, a little there?
Well, guess what? I'm going to have to leave the meeting early to go to Main Beach to find out about this. I'm interviewing 5 members of the class of 1959. Okay, and we probably have to have lunch, so I'm going to go.
Thanks, Hugh. All right, so what I was saying was I'm going to skip the public hearings for now and the board discussion, because I see we have some people that would like to address us. So we're going to jump to that first, so you're not sitting through all this other material. So anybody would like to address? Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Judy Mencher. I'm not a village resident. I'm a town resident. I'm sorry about that, but I didn't know there was a difference when we bought our house. At any rate, this is perfect today because you were talking about the beach, and you were talking about renovations at the beach, and you were also talking about our standing, and we're only 5, and Cooper's Beach is 1. I know how you can fix it.
Could you lower that?
Sure.
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
I can't. How about that?
There you go. That's perfect.
Okay, I know how you can make yourself, I know how we can make Main Beach #1, beating Cooper, by fixing the parking problem. As you can see, I'm disabled. I became disabled about 3 years ago. I'm not able to walk on the beach because the sand is detrimental to my health. At any rate, if you can picture the beach, there are two parking lots. There's one on the right side, facing the ocean. There's one on the left side of the beach, one on the right side of the beach. Right, the left side of the beach is known as parking lot 2. Right, the parking lot 1 is on the right side. Parking lot 1 is dedicated just for village residents. And when you look at parking lot 2, there are 2 disabled parking spaces right at the top of the beach, right next to the beach, which is great, but 2 is really not very many. Down at the bottom of that very steep hill, and the older you get and the more disabled you get, the steeper the hill becomes. There are 3 spots, and then there are 3 within the parking lot itself. Those spots are useless, because there is no way anybody like me or anyone who's even more disabled than I am can possibly get up the hill without the use of a car. So I was wondering if there was any way you could help us do something about that, giving us some more parking lot spots on the top of the hill, or even, I know it's hard to say to the people from the village, you have to give up some of your spots, but actually, I go to the beach every day. That lot is very unused. It's rarely even full, maybe on July 4th if it's really hot. So I was wondering if we could dedicate some spots in that lot for people who are paying the $750 or $500 if they were lucky and got there in February, to use as, I call them cripple spots, really, disabled spots, so that there would be more parking for people to come to the beach. And maybe that would be something that would make Cooper's Beach number 2 and us number 1. So I thought if you could take, if you wanted to ask me any questions, or if there's anybody in the audience who wanted to say anything, I have my team. The team is really bigger, but it's early in the season, so a lot of people aren't out yet. Is there any, I don't know how you...
Yeah, we've gone through this a few times, not with you, obviously, but over the years. And the problem we have with utilizing lot 1 is that village residents that's an exclusive lot for the village residents and the locker holders that also park up in there.
Which also are unused.
What's that?
They may be sold, but nobody's ever in those. I sit right there every day.
Yeah, but if we start opening it up to non-residents and then there are no handicap spots available in that lot, what do we tell a resident that's handicapped when they pull in the lot and they have no place to park?
Come earlier.
So I think, what's that?
Come earlier.
I think I think the better way to handle it is maybe to put more handicap spots at the top of Main Beach.
That'd be great.
Maybe 2 more spots. Would that?
No, because there are 6, right now, there are 6 extra spots at the bottom of the hill. So can you give us 6 other spots where we could park more readily?
Well, they were moved from the top to the bottom because I think the ones you're referring to at the very bottom, because they were on a slope, right, Tom?
Right.
They were on the slope, and they actually didn't meet to the ADA certifications in a sense for parking.
Yeah,
they were moved.
Exactly what
I don't know what that means. Could you?
So we used to have, if you pulled up to Main Beach, and where we put the new handicap spots now, they used to be all the way to the left, but they were on the grade,
I understand.
which made it kind of silly to have it on the hill.
I understand
So
that.
we wanted to make them more flat and more accessible and safer.
Right, but the buttons on the bottom are totally inaccessible.
I think that we said, correct me, that the village staff has come repeatedly and said they will help anybody get up.
How are they going to do that?
Well,
If you're not in a wheelchair, how are they going to do that?
This seems to be a topic that comes up every year, and we're very sympathetic to everybody. And with the help of Tom, who's in charge of a lot of our ADA code, we did unfortunately have to move those spots up to the left of the beach because they were not compliant, and technically we were at risk of allowing handicapped people to park there because it's on a hill. Of course, you can
But
appreciate
they are,
that.
excuse me,
Right.
but across the front of the beach, they're not on a hill.
No, they're not. Now, again, there is a balancing act where we have to follow, because if handicap spots require a certain amount of space for opening of the doors, and there's a marked off spot for wheelchair access and all those things. So taking away from the 15-minute parking also ends up being another conflict with the community, because then no one can park at the head of the beach. And it is a very difficult.
I understand that.
Difficult situation.
That's why, because I know parking lot 1 is off limits, and I understand all that, but that is, to me, is the only reasonable solution, because it's flat, it's right on the ocean, there's no walking, I mean, there's walking, but there's not. I could not walk up that hill. I just couldn't do it. So if I want to go to the beach by myself, I can't.
We do have an unloading zone. We have an unloading zone that's clearly marked for access.
You can't load me. I have to park my car.
It's definitely a tough topic.
I was just hoping that you would, there are not that many of us who come. We come every day, and every day we fight with Diane. Sometimes if it's empty, she'll say, okay, go in. You can't, it's frustrating, and it's anxiety provoking. I'm 85 years old. Yeah, I want to just go park my car and have a nice day. And it seems so reasonable to let us park there. We don't have to park right in the front. We can walk on a flat surface. We just can't walk up a hill. So if you could take it under advisement, I would really appreciate
The
it.
spots that we put at the top of the beach, do you find that they're filled?
Yeah, there are only
Most
2
days?
of them. You come there at 10, if you're not there by 10, you're done.
Okay.
Okay? Oh, that's it.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Ma'am?
I appreciate the time also. Unfortunately, I am virtually stone deaf and slightly blind. I have loved the Village Main Beach for 42 years. We live on Gould Street. There never was any other beach we ever even knew about. I cannot cross from one side to the deck. So even if it's aligned with the entry, I can't do it, even with my cane. My husband, who doesn't reveal his age, ad infinitum, won't admit to the fact that he can't do it either. He walks parallel to the ground. We never really had a problem prior to these new rulings, because when we used to go to Lot 1, when we became aged and handicapped, I don't know if there was a wink that went on, but it was known, because we were always there, by the people at the deck, that these handicapped people can use the Lot 1 spots. I had friends in the village who said, oh, take my spot or whatever. But the fact is, what Judy Mencher said is valid. Not all the time, but most of the days that we're there. There are so many available spots, and we sit and we're so upset by it, because truly our lifeline is being on that beach. And, you're all young kids. I was a director of a senior center for 20 years. And when I first started in my early 40s, I used to say, we, the collective we, will do this, we will do, and they say, Elaine, what are you talking about? We, you're a young, I said, we will all be there, meaning me, and I just ask you to literally walk in our humble shoes and canes and sticks and deafness. And it is, I don't think you can appreciate how much we love that deck and what you provided with your concerts.
Excuse me, if you could take the microphone and put it in front of your mouth, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
See, I can't even hear that. I guess I'm finished, but
right,
I
well-
just would like
Your husband's clapping for you,
guess
isn't that nice? It's very
open
nice.
your hearts and your hearing.
Talk about possibly using it.
About what?
Possibly using the handicap.
I can't hear.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm Rachel Hecht. How are you? Elaine had mentioned to me that in Florida, if all the handicap spots were taken, that they, at the beach, then they could take and use an empty spot and put their handicap label on the car, and it would not be a problem. Would that be a possibility?
You know, I was going to say, you all seem like a great bunch of people, and I really appreciate you coming here and talking to us and taking the time. And I was going to say, let us put our heads together and see if we can come up with an idea, but I think that sounds like a wonderful idea.
Every spot is down the hill.
I thought you guys were a team.
Maybe at the 15-minute.
That's what I was thinking. No, I was thinking at the 15-minute parking at the head of the beach, if those two handicap spots are taken, if you pull in one of those spots and you display the handicap permit like this lady was saying, then we would not put a summons on it, as long as you had the handicap sticker and the beach permit. I think that's a great idea. Let us think that through, and then maybe that's something we can do, because then we're not permanently changing those spots. But if you need it, the handicap sticker would override the 15-minute parking for the day.
Could that be in another place as well? Slightly on the left side?
It could be the whole front.
You could use
15 minutes.
the whole 15-minute parking. And if you had a handicap permit, it would resolve the issue. And then, see, the problem is when, let's say, there's nobody parked up there, and let's say we made it all handicap parking, then nobody can use it, because you can't even park temporarily in a handicap parking space if you're not handicapped, as you all know, and that's one of my pet peeves, that people use and abuse these parking permits. And so this seems like a very smart solution to me.
I have a question either for Lisa or for Tom. If we allow this, the spots that are 15-minute don't have the extra space on the sides. Does that open us up for any type of liability?
The other two don't have it either.
No, they do. They have the extra space on the end. So for example, if you have a van and it has a wheelchair lift, or you need to open your door all the way, which again is what we try to provide to be compliant, those other spots don't have that. They're tighter. And I'm all for this idea. I think it's a great idea, but if someone were to fall or some cars were to have some type of accident, then it's our fault.
Well,
So I don't know. That's why I wanted to ask them.
Yeah,
if
we could ask our attorney, but my personal feeling is no, because it's not a designated handicap spot.
That's my first instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the idea.
But that would mean that, a lot of people do come to the beach for 15 minutes to eat their lunch and leave. So it could be that all those spots are now
Yeah,
handicapped.
but it's only temporary. I mean, if you came up there and somebody was already in the 15-minute spot eating lunch, you still wouldn't be able to park. So I think this is a good compromise. I think it's,
or we can see how it goes.
See how it goes for this summer.
If it's abused, then we
Chief,
can.
what do you think? Putting you on the spot.
Twice.
Or what if we do that?
No.
I don't know, by doing this, you're going to open up another can of worms with those
Thanks,
people that come for 15 minutes, that don't have any beach stickers, that don't pay any beach stickers, and they're for 15 minutes to eat their lunch. And
Why are we catering to those people if they haven't bought a beach permit?
well, then,
I think I would rather help people who've bought a beach permit
I mean, it certainly can be
and are
done.
handicapped.
And we can do that if that's what they wish. Then if you want to try that, and do it a pilot program, see how it goes. And
Yeah,
if there's
I think it's
issues,
a great
then we
idea.
can,
Administrative action is all it is.
Yeah,
we can,
Yeah, let's do it.
we can address it.
all right.
Right, Lisa?
Glad you're on board.
We're not changing the code, this is a pilot program for the
It
summer.
was a great idea. Great idea. Very good. Getting things done. That really solves the entire problem in my head.
Most of it, yes. One of the issues that we are having at Lot 1 is that we have 175 locker permit holders and only 76 spots. So I know that it does seem empty from time to time, and believe me, that's my complaint too sometimes, but it is. I believe you, I'm there, but I know, you're right, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
I would be willing to spend another $250 and I could park there and not have this hazard every morning when I drop the when we get up there and then we fight with Diane and it gets really not nice.
No, I think we came up to a great solution. I think hopefully this will work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Why don't we, Drew's not here, right?
I'll fill him in.
I was
right
thinking to make this a little better, maybe take 3 more spots and put a little, not a handicap sign, but put a little reserved sign in front of that spot so that you're not, then when you come up to the beach, you're not waiting 15 minutes for somebody to move. Or, they may even sit there longer because the police aren't really enforcing the 15-minute. So you might be sitting there for a half an hour waiting for a spot to open. So if we put a couple of reserve signs up, no parking reserved, but you'll have to know that you're okay as long as you have the handicap. This is going to be a secret. Hold on. Shut off the mic. It's gonna be a secret.
Public meeting.
Just for the people that are here today. It's great. So, thank you very much. I'm glad we could help. This is a great, we put our heads together and we came up with an answer. It's excellent.
Thank you very much.
Next slide, I'm going to move 3 houses down.
That's another way
We'd
to
love to
solve
have
this
you.
problem.
Well, thanks very much, everybody, taking the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know what, everyone said nothing was gonna happen. I've been working on this since last summer. They said, you told them that they won't listen to you.
Well, you should have brought her with you.
Thank
Thanks.
you very much.
Bag is right.
I'm not.
No, I get it. That's why I moved this ahead. Yeah. No, you're not being rude. That's why I moved this ahead, so you could leave and not have to sit through all of
Thank you for the
this.
suggestion. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll start this immediately, okay?
Could, Tom, I don't know if you or Joe, is Joe now going to be taking care of this? I'd like to go up there and review if there's anything that they could possibly trip on or anything with the concrete.
Yeah.
I just want to take a quick look up there because I think this is a good idea, but I think we should get up there and just double check the area to make sure that there's no hazards up there.
You want to do it today after the exec?
I could do it today.
Yeah?
Yeah, as long as the
And I can
executive
see
session-
Lorraine is very happy.
Right, so, or whatever works again. Yeah, and I don't know if Dave Collin,
The
anyone,
Memorial Day weekend, I want to make sure whatever
Right.
policy we put in place, it's today with Drew and Diane.
right.
Yeah. That was terrific. Okay. Is everybody good?
Maybe we can talk about it in the executive session.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let's,
Well, I just want to say, a lot of people come here and they say, the village people get this, they pay $200 and we pay $700. What people have to understand is we represent the village and we do, as villagers, pay an extra layer of taxes. There are people who pay $350,000 in village taxes. And one of the things they get is a beach sticker or a beach pass, Lot 1. So it's not that we're just handing these out in these village residents. That's one of the perks of paying this extra layer of taxes. And so, I just want to make sure we protect the best interests of the villagers.
well, that's why I wasn't we're not in favor of taking away from Lot 1. That's why we changed the law the way it was written, because the prior administration was letting people use Lot 1, non-residents, residents, because they had a handicap permit. And I didn't feel that was right, because, I mean, you don't just, not just because, but if you have a handicap permit, it doesn't give you permission to go to a movie without paying for a movie ticket. So to allow that is a similar, similar reason. So I'm not in favor of giving up anything in Lot 1. That's why I think this solution, all we're losing are people who have probably not bought a permit and want to come up and look at the ocean while they eat lunch. So I think this is a good fix. And we don't have to restripe anything. We don't have to take away from parking, because like I said earlier, if you stripe something with handicap paint, then no one can ever park there, even for 5 seconds. That's what the law says.
Right.
So this works better.
So now, if you want to come and eat your lunch in Main Beach, you have to buy a $500 or $750 ticket.
Right. That's fair.
Oh,
there'll be other spots open.
Possibly.
yeah.
I mean, we can, there's a
Yeah,
big
but,
group.
I mean, my personal concern, I'm not worried about people who haven't paid for a beach permit during the day. That's,
So,
I mean, these people all paid either $500 or $750 for a permit. So I think, catering to people who want to park for 15 minutes to look at an ocean and haven't paid a dime, I don't know. It doesn't bother me that they can't have a spot. But that's me.
quick points is, you can't do this at Cooper's Beach. They shut down their beach access in the summer because it's too busy.
You write that down.
Okay, some, not these particular people, but I think, East Hampton Town has to provide for a little bit more, because yes, we've got a beautiful pavilion and everyone wants to go there, but people pay town taxes and they can go to town beaches and they don't want to, because of course it might be nicer at Main Beach. But again, I agree with Carrie to a point where, we have to look out for the village residents that are paying for these beaches, they're paying for the upkeep, they're paying for everything. And, Lot 1 is full a lot. It's full all weekend. It's full with the junior program. It's full with the robust beach hut snack bar that is developed up there. It's not empty all the time. I go up to Main Beach a lot, and Lot 1 is very full, much more than it used to be. And the beach right now, we're doing a lot of great things up there, and it's been getting busier and busier. So I'm not surprised that there's a tighter parking issues up there, but at the end of the day, I do think we have to look after village residents first and try to open up, so that I do like this program to see how it works. I'm just, again, a little bit more concerned about people tripping and falling, or having a whole nother issue with that whole front lot being, not accessible. But again, Jerry, I think your point of, if you don't pay anything, then, you can go to George Key Beach or Wyborg's and park up there and look.
Right, you can have lunch there.
I don't know. I don't know if there's an easy solution to this problem.
We'll see how this works, and we'll see where we go from there. And it doesn't take away anything from the village resident, so I think it's a good
These
fix.
same people should be at village town board meetings complaining that there's nowhere for them to go at town beaches.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is that, like the one lady's, she lives 2 houses outside of the village, and that's why we did this. There's so many people that live on the fringe of the village that feel like Main Beach has been their beach since they were kids, and there's no other beach for them. So that's why we started the $500 discounted day, so that those people could continue to enjoy at a reasonable price the beach they grew up on. So I think it's, to ask somebody who lives on Gould Street to go to Amagansett, it probably doesn't sit well.
Didn't we have something where they could call in and someone would be on call?
Yeah, and then
to help them.
What I had a woman tell me is that, they don't want to have to rely on, they want to be independent.
Okay.
They don't want to rely on having to call somebody and have to get help, and it's, they want to be able to do it themselves, which I totally get. but, all right. Are we ready to move on, or?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Lorraine?
Introductory number 7 of
Oh, I need to do
2025.
the budget. My apologies.
I'm sorry, back to,
I'm as excited about it as you.
sorry, the village administrator is up.
Not as excited. I'll just read a portion of the letter that I sent to the board yesterday. So in crafting or I should say, I'm pleased to present the tentative budget for the Village of East Hampton for the fiscal year beginning August 1st, 2025 and ending July 31st, 2026. In crafting the annual budget, as you all know, the priorities are to lower taxes whenever feasible, deliver high-quality services to village residents, invest in the village's infrastructure, strengthen our on-hand position to fund long-term capital projects, and then reduce our overall debt burden. And I'm proud to report that the 2026 tentative budget does all those things. I'll read some of the highlights. It increases taxes by 1.28%. I believe it's the lowest locally at the moment. Tax rate is 31.44. The assessed value is $50 million. Let's see. Estimated revenues are $15,292,000. Personnel budget is increased by $500,000. Workman's comp is a decrease of $40,000. Surplus remains at $600,000, which is extremely healthy with our contingency account at $300,000 as well. We increased that last year, and we were able to keep it just that high, so that's good. It gives us a lot of cushion, which is nice. Let's see, medical insurance is increasing again 5%. Employee retirement increases 19.6%. Police retirement 9.7%. And our building department revenues are increasing by $1.4 million. That's really well. And the new contractors registry permits are increasing by 166,000 and growing every single day. Just signed a bunch now. So, and of course, the fire protection services just decreases about $434,000. And at next month's meeting, we'll be replenishing the EBLAR again. And that is it. That's just quick highlights.
That's great. And I have to say, you know, the village, Marcos and his team and Dominique have done a great job with the budget again this year. We had some delays as we negotiated or attempted to negotiate with the town about dispatch. And what I wanted to say too earlier is there's been a lot written in the local papers about the dispatch, the 911. And recently I was on a show that I do every month called Meet the Mayor. It's on LTV. And if anybody really wants to dig deeper into this 911, I explained the entire thing for about a half an hour on this show, and it kind of laid out what really went on and the thought behind everything that went into our decisions, the town and the village. So if you tune into that, you'll get a better understanding of, you know, where the village is with this entire situation. And again, you know, this is our first tax increase in 5 years since I've been mayor. And this board works very hard, and our village team works very hard. Our department heads work very hard to keep the budget costs under control. We did not break the 2% cap, which is a state law. However, and what people should know, people that live in the village receive a tax bill from the town of East Hampton, and they also receive a tax bill from the village of East Hampton. While the village has been very conservative in keeping taxes down, and again, this is our first tax increase in 5 years, and it's 1.28, not that it's nothing, but it's very small in comparison to what's going on around us. However, in the last 4 years, the town has increased our village residents' taxes over 25%. So that is something you should hold your town representatives accountable for and find out why this is happening. It's a little frustrating that we work so hard to keep the taxes down, and then we're getting hit from the other side with huge increases. So I just point that out to everybody.
They've never been that high before, I'll add.
Yeah, and I did some research and I went back to the 4 years prior to this past 4 years, so 8 years ago, And the average tax increase was about 1.88% from the town. And now it's close to 7 or 8% each year. So it's something that needs to be looked into by village residents to the town. So just wanted to point that out.
And the village also pays for a lot of the infrastructure that's front-facing. When you think of East Hampton, the parks, the streets, the beautiful village, the beaches, the pavilions, it's the village taxes that are paying for that. So, it's time, to make sure that there's some, like the dispatch discussion was we were paying for the dispatch. So it's time, to get subsidized for some of these things or have the town be responsible for them.
Right. Yeah, and that's where this all started. So, and it's just been a very hot topic in the local paper. So just wanted to clear that up a little bit. Are we ready to move on to the public hearings?
Introductory number 7 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 62, Article 2, Alarm Systems, Section 62.3, Registration Required, B1, 2, and 3.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody who would like to be heard on this? No? Are we closing this?
Yes.
Can I get a motion to close?
I'll make a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that public hearing's closed.
Introductory number 8.
Sorry.
Okay.
Introductory number 9 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 267, Article 5, Section 26746, Vehicles, scofflaw.
Is there anyone who would like to be heard? Are we closing this?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing's closed.
Introductory number 11 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 196, Noise, Section 196.1, Prohibited Noises, Evidence of Violation, A10.
Anyone like to be heard? Motion to close?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried, closed. Hearing's closed.
Introductory number 12 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 267, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 1, General Regulations, Section 267.5, Beach Parking, C, Parking Permits, 5C.
Anyone like to be heard? No. Are we closing this, Lori? Yes.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing's closed.
Introductory number 13 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 77, Beaches, Section 7714, Locker Permits, Section 7714.2.
Anyone like to be heard?
I make a motion to close the hearing.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing's closed. All right, next up, board discussion, parking fines. Chief, you want to? It's based on your memo, right?
Yeah, so the memo that I put forth to the board is we have not had an increase in fines. And I can't tell you when the last time, I think it's been a long time. So I put forth to increase fines in reference to no beach stickers, parking, overtime parking to the board to hopefully help deter. Because we do issue a lot of tickets, and I think, especially at the beach, the $150, some people just do it, and they say, all right, we'll take it. So we've increased that fee along with the other parking, the overtime parking. So hopefully that will maybe gain more compliance, and I hope the board would support this increase. Any questions?
I have a question, Chief. Out of the amount of tickets that we issue, what's the percentage that are paid, and what's the percentage that are fought? And when they're fought, do they settle in half, or how does that work? I just would.
Well, I mean, those numbers, I'm not exact. I don't have. I mean, we have counsel, outside counsel, Lester, that does that. We can get that get that number, what's plea bargained down to what is actually paid, and that comes in without being contested. I don't have those numbers, trustee, off the top.
Well, the direction that I was going is that if you go to court and you challenge a ticket, you're basically turned around immediately just to pay half.
Yeah.
And they get you out of the court. And I know the court has an agenda and they have a schedule, but it doesn't really seem right. However, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how it works, but if you get a ticket, you should pay it. And there you go. And maybe if it's more, then half of more is more.
Well, I mean, I think that's up to our counsel. Our outside counsel makes the decision if they want to plea bargain a ticket down. So if the board wants to hold a hard line on that, and if we don't want to plea bargain down parking summonses, then we should probably let outside counsel know that that's our position, and either you pay the full fine or go towards a trial to prove your guilt or innocence, or your innocence on that. It's left up to our counsel to do that, just like the ADA's plea bargain all criminal cases. It's
Okay. Thanks.
Do you know, Jerry, how many tickets end up being, is there like a rough percentage? Like,
Well,
did most of people pay them? I mean, is it like 90% of the people pay the ticket? Or
we do. I mean, and the board's taken action in reference to parking summons, which is a smart idea with the scofflaw, because as we've looked into the number of parking tickets that have been issued, there are persistent violators that have thousands of dollars that are unpaid fines. So just to as an adjunct to this conversation, that local law that the board is adopting, it will help those persistent violators that get tickets. And some of them that we've looked into are thousands of dollars that have been paid, but there's still thousands of dollars that are unpaid. Again, to get more compliance, have a little bit more teeth into this as the fines go up, maybe more of a deterrent. As we have scoff laws, if we're going to impound your vehicle now, if you're a habitual offender, maybe have more teeth, and we'll gain more compliance, which will give us quicker turnover, better for shopping and store owners in the beaches also.
great, I'm in favor.
Yeah, thank you for your support.
Anybody else have any questions or?
About that, or?
Yeah, about the fines. Okay. Is that on here for a resolution, or are we going to, Marcos, do you?
Or discussion only.
Just discussion?
Yes.
Okay. So next month, we'll put it on?
At the special meeting.
Oh, at the special meeting, right? Okay, great. All right, let's see. All right, we're ready to go to motions.
Can I just say one thing? I just
Sure.
want to remind that the village, just everybody in the village, that the laws have changed. We voted about the noise of landscaping and construction, that it can't happen before 8 a.m. or after 6 p.m. And I hope, the landscapers and construction know this, but also the residents have a responsibility to tell the people who work for them as well, because it's consistent and constant, this late night working. Husband's getting out of bed at 8, he goes to bed early at 8 at night to run across the street to tell them to stop making the noise. So please tell that 6 o'clock is the stop, and we are enforcing that. I think the chief was enforcing it this week. Yeah, quietude is so important. We're out here to relax and rest, to escape, the bustle of the noise in the cities. And so please, everybody, be respectful to your neighbors.
Yeah, thank you for bringing up Trustee Doyle. We have done a blitz or a campaign with the new, that started May 15th. So for some, whether it's ignorance, but or the date, the laws were changed for reasons of quality of life, which this board is accustomed to pushing. So yes, Monday through May 15th to September 15th, Monday to Friday, and the laws were a little convoluted, and now they're all geared towards the same, because the noise is the noise, whether it's landscaping, construction. 8 to 6, Monday to Friday, and then Saturdays 12 to 4, and there's no construction or landscaping on Sundays and holidays. This past week, we've, along with our code enforcement, Tom and Joe. We've had some building sites that the mayor is aware of that have been non-compliant. And we've been out actively, the police department along with code enforcement, those habitual offenders. The building department issued stop work orders because, as we found out in our meetings from the contractors, some of the residents, they're multi-million-dollar residents, and a $250 village code summons holds no weight. So with the support of the building department, they shut those job sites that were habitual, because we were there every day, issuing the contractor registry and summonses. So there had been a lot to that. And we had nice meetings with those, and we're hoping, and have been to this point, had compliance with those. But we are on a campaign, my department. I put out a directive to those quality of life issues. But to Trustee Doyle, we can't be everywhere all the time. So if a resident is out there and anything falls within, and even the leaf blower, we've just did a couple of summonses about the gas-powered leaf blowers. So please don't feel like you're bothering the police department. You pay taxes for us to respond. We're happy to respond. But we can't be there all the time. They are proactive. If you hear something, call our 324-077 non-emergency number, report the construction, an officer will respond and act accordingly. And we will deal with it if it's a continuous job site that's under the gun to try to get done. And that was some of the questions, well, what's going to do? And we've dealt with counsel in reference to issues if we have to go past just summonses or a temporary stop work order. We're all lined up to do what we have to do and get litigious if these contractors don't want to stop. We talked about those people that are having those houses done, that at some point after the construction is over, this will benefit the person that's building the house when their neighbor decides to. So don't be selfish about this. Follow the rules. And I think the message was well received, and they realized that those particular contractors that some did it on their own. These particular ones we had to bring in and have a nice chat with. There was one up on other roads that after they got 3 summonses, they realized that, okay, I'm going to comply. So it is new in the game. It started May 15th, but we're all hands on deck with this for this quality of life, especially we're coming into our big season and people don't want to listen to this noise. They come out here for peace and quiet, and we're committed to enforcing those new regulations. So thank you for bringing that up, Trustee.
Yeah, I have to compliment the police department and the building department doing a great job with this enforcement. The chief said, it's a new regulations, but these particular job sites that the chief is talking about, the building department went out of their way, myself, the deputy mayor, met with the building department, and we decided what we would do at Main Beach and we would do at 2 Mile Hollow Beach, because there's 2 huge construction sites going on, is we allowed them to park at Main Beach, 2 Mile Hollow and Georgia out of the way, and we gave them special permits to park Monday through Thursday, and there's no parking on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So even though the regulations were new, they were also given plenty of warning not to be working. They knew the regulations, and then when they decided to operate anyway, they were then given warnings, and they didn't listen to the warnings. Then they were given summonses. They didn't listen to the summonses. And then finally, we had to get a stop work order to put on the project, removed everybody from the property, and then we got compliance. They came in, they talked to us, and they understood now that this wasn't going to continue. And the chief made it very clear, if it continues, the next step will be go to court, and we'll get an injunction, and the job site will probably be shut down for weeks. So I think we're on a good track, but I have to remind the residents, we're doing this for your quality of life, and you need to help us. You need to call in if you hear something. Again, leaf blowers between May 15th, September 15th can only be electric powered, no gas powered leaf blowers. So call in, let us know, and it'll be shut down. The idea of the registry was to get all of these contractors on board so they would know the rules, so they wouldn't violate the rules, even though some of these have signed up for the registry and they still violate the rules. So there's nothing more. It's a $1,000 fine for the registry not being registered, so hopefully that'll get some attention and get people to comply. But thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom, Joe.
The $250 fine, does that seem like enough? Like Chief said, it's like multi-million-dollar projects are going up, and like a $250 summons is like whatever. It's a cup of coffee to these people. Is there a way to increase the fee to make it hurt a little more? Like maybe after the second or the third time, or like the first one's $250, the second one's $1,000, the third one's $10,000. I don't know. I'm just trying to say is that like $250 is nothing to these projects. I mean, it really is nothing.
We could talk about that with our
Sounds like
attorney.
the shutting down of the project is what does the trick.
It does, but no one wants that. Like, you know, these are residents too. And so again, sometimes, again, I don't know, but the village resident might not even be aware of this. Like they just tell the contractor, get it done. And the contractor is really the one at fault, I would think. So the contractor doesn't want these fines. I don't know.
No, it sounded like the chief said that some of the residents are knowingly directing their contractors to do that.
Well, that's a whole different story
Well,
again. But
it's pretty funny, though, when you drive around and you see how disrespectful people are. They're offloading sod at 7:30 in the morning. On Sunday morning, we had a construction site that decided that they were going to bring a cement mixer in at 7:30 in the morning and pour a new pool. I mean, it's just so disrespectful, and I think the neighbors or the residents really need to pay attention to what's going on. Because like the chief said, one day they're going to be a resident and there's going to be a construction site next to them, and they're not going to appreciate it very much. So I think we're on the right track.
Yeah.
And I think we will get compliance. It just might take a little more time than we were hoping. So,
Thank you, chief. That's, and Tom and everybody, that's great.
all right, resolutions.
Resolution number 156 of 2025, approve claim vouchers for the month of May.
So moved.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 157, approve warrants as listed. Number 40, guarantees, 41 and 42, general fund, 43, general fund warrant, and 44, capital fund.
So moved.
second,
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Approve budget transfer, schedule number 6, reference number 6, dated May 2025.
So moved.
second,
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Resolution number 159, approve departmental reports.
So moved.
second,
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 160, resolve the fiscal year 2025 village budget is hereby amended to increase appropriations from the assigned unappropriated fund balance in the amount of $295,000 for expenditures related to the Sea Spray Cottages roof replacement.
So moved.
second,
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 161, resolve the fiscal year 2025 village budget is hereby amended to increase appropriations from the assigned unappropriated fund balance in the amount of $50,086.96 for expenditures related to the emergency services building for the replacement of 2 doors.
So moved.
second,
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 162, resolve the fiscal year 2025 village budget is hereby amended to increase appropriations from the assigned unappropriated fund balance in the amount of $25,697 for expenditures related to the emergency services building, Verkada Access Control.
So moved.
second,
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 163, resolve the fiscal year 2025 village budget is hereby amended to increase appropriations from the assigned unappropriated fund balance in the amount of $386,600 for expenditures related to the Main Beach Pavilion roof replacement.
So moved.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 164, authorize the payment from the general fund in the amount of $498,912 for the fire department length of service awards program, LoSAP.
So moved.
second,
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 165, approve fire department LoSAP review and approve and accept the recommendations of the updated point system to reflect current New York State regulations effective January 1st, 2026.
So moved.
second,
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 166, approve the $4,346.41 refund due to Henry Drucker to Representative Sponick Tax Reduction Service concerning erroneous real estate taxes paid.
So moved.
second,
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 167, approve the $347.71 refund due to Mattia Monti to Representative Hispanic Tax Reduction Service concerning erroneous real estate taxes paid.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 168, deem surplus and approve the sale and disposal of the equipment listed as requested by DPW Superintendent Dave Collins per his memo dated May 17th, 2025.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 169, deem surplus and of no value, one 2008 Volvo with 4-in-1 bucket and accept trade-in allowance of $18,000 from Jesco Equipment to be applied to cost of a new machine.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 170, deem surplus and approve the sale disposal of one workstation computer and 3 servers from Village Hall that are broken and beyond repair and of no value.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 171, deem surplus and approve the sale online by Auctions International of a 2013 Ford Focus per March 19th memo from Chief Erickson.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 172, approve $2,930.52 quote from Lincoln IT for a new computer replacement at the Emergency Services Building, 1 Cedar Street.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Passed and carried.
Number 173, approve $12,982.50 quote from Ben Kropinski Builders for painting of streetlight poles.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 174, approve the $1,903.13 quote for 4 Durabond printed beach signs from Hampton Signs for Main Beach, 2 Mile Hollow, and Georgia Beaches.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 175, approve the $5,600 change order number 3 from Ben Kropinski Builders for wallpaper and hallway at the Emergency Services Building, 1 Cedar Street.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 176, approve the amendment to Resolution 124 of 2025 to indicate the $50,086.96 quote from Ben Kropinski Builders for 2 door replacements at the Emergency Services Building, 1 Cedar Street, to be paid from the assigned unappropriated fund balance.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 177, approve the new fire department members, Matthew Bilski, Hook and Ladder Company Number 1, and Ryan Benitez, Engine Company Number 4.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. Sorry, I was doing something.
Number 178, approve change in status membership for listed members of the Department of Emergency Medical Service, EMS, effective May 1st of 2025, per Mary Mott's May 10th, 2025 memo.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 179, approve Laura Martinez and Harry DeVaris as part-time emergency medical technicians, basic EMTBs at the hourly rate of $30, and authorize each of them to work the seasonal period from May 23rd, 2025 to September 15th, 25, in accordance to civil service regulations effective May 23rd, 2025.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 180, approve Eric Ecker as a part-time emergency medical technician paramedic EMTP at the hourly rate of $40, and authorize him to work the seasonal period from May 23rd, 2025 to September 15th, 2025, in accordance to civil service regulations effective May 23rd, 2025.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 181, employ 2025 seasonal paramedics and EMTBs effective May 12th, 2025, as listed in Jerry Terz's May 15th memo.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 182, employ 2025 seasonal traffic control specialists and traffic control officers as listed effective May 17th of 2025, per May 7th, 2025 memo from Chief Erickson.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 183, approve the museum tour guides, Jonda Stillwell at $20 an hour and Francine Hanford at $18 an hour to work during the summer months, May 1st of 2025 to November 30th of 2025, effective May 24th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 184, approve employment of Nathan Aldred as groundskeeper, step 3, at an annual starting salary of $66,965, effective June 1st of 2025.
Second. All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 185, approve 3-year employment agreement with Joseph Palermo as principal building inspector at an annual salary of $150,000 effective retroactively to May 1st of 2025.
This supposed to be 6 years? Is you sure? 3?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Passed and carried.
Number 186, approve the listed promotion and staff additions to the beach department effective May 24th, 2025, per the May 17th memo from Drew Smith.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 187, approve the special event permit fee schedule as per section 139.8 for the 2025 season, effective retroactively to May 1st of 2025.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 188, notice to bidders for the below-listed public works contracts with bid specs available May 23rd of 2025, and bid opening to be held on June 3rd at 2 p.m. at Village Hall for crack sealing and seal coating.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 189, notice a public hearing to be held on June 18th of 2025 at 11 a.m. at the Emergency Services Building, 1 Cedar Street, East Hampton, for introductory number 14 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 278, zoning, Section 278-7, Board of Appeals, variances, special permits, fees, A12345, terms of office.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 190 of 2025, notice of public hearing to be held on June 18th at 11 a.m. at the Emergency Services Building for introductory number 15 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 121, Design and Site Plan Review, Section 121.5E.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 191, notice of public hearing to be held on June 18th of 2025 at the Emergency Services Building for introductory number 16 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 42, Planning Board, Section 42.1, Planning Board established, membership and terms of office, removal.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 192, notice of public hearing to be held on June 5th of 2025 at 11 a.m. at the Emergency Services Building, 1 Cedar Street, for introductory number 17 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 267, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 267.15, Penalties for Offenses, B, E, and F.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Passed and carried.
Number 193, notice of public hearing to be held on June 18th at 11 a.m. at the Emergency Services Building for the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution number 194, adopt local law for 2025, introductory number 7, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 62, Article 2, Alarm Systems, Section 62.3, Registration Required, B1, 2, and 3.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 195, adopt local law of 2025 for introductory number 9 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 267, Article 5, Section 267.46, Vehicles, scofflaw.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Passed and carried.
Number 196, adopt local law of 2025 for introductory number 12 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 267, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 1, General Regulations, Section 267.5, Beach Parking, C, Parking Permits, 5C.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 197 of 2025, adopt local law of 2025, introductory number 13 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 77 Beaches, Section 7714 Locker Permits, Section 7714-2.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Passed and carried. Noreen, we're going to have to add on, we closed introductory number 11.
Okay.
So we need to pass that. So if you can just make it 198-2025,
We have 198.
adopt local law.
Okay.
Last page, Bill.
We have a 198. I can do 207 at
Oh,
the
I
end.
missed-
I can do it at the end.
Oh, I don't have the last.
There's an addenda to the agenda that has.
All right, so I don't have that on
It's on
mine.
your other sheet.
It's in the other, the whole nother page here.
Oh, wow. Wait, I got it.
We're not done yet.
All right, my mistake. Doesn't happen often.
Oh,
That was a joke.
sure. Here, I have another one.
All right. Thank you for laughing in the back. I appreciate that. Go ahead, Lorraine, sorry.
Resolution number 198, 2025, approve request to enter into paving agreement with PSEG Long Island, receiving payment of $405,000 for the restoration by our contractor for work on Egypt Lane, Accabonac Road, and Main Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 199, approve the contract with Fundamental Business Service Incorporated to provide professional services for fines and penalty collection for the town and village.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Resolution number 200, approve $81,549 quote from L&V Benia for work sidewalk replacement and curb repair to be paid from the assigned unappropriated fund balance.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 201, Resolution 201, notice to bidders for proposal for public restroom cleaning for a 2-year period with bid specs available May 23rd and bid opening to be held on June 10th of 2025 at 2 p.m. at Village Hall.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 202, accept low bid of $81,886 from Bulk Storage for the repair and re-shingling of the salt barn located at the Department of Public Works per May 20th, 2025 bid results.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 203, approve the $13,538.90 quote from Ben Kropinski Builders for repair to the town pond drain facade to be paid from the assigned unappropriated fund balance.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 204, deem surplus and approve the sale by public auction or brokerage 3 vehicles as listed per the May 7th, 2025 memo from Dave J. Cox.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 205, approve the acceptance of Joseph Cagliotti Jr. of Prestige Electrical Inspections LLC to be added to the Village of East Hampton's approved electrical inspection agencies.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 206, notice a public hearing to be held on June 18th of 2025 at 11 a.m. at the Emergency Services Building, 1 Cedar Street for introductory number 18 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 250, Streets and Sidewalks, Section 250-10B, C4, obstructing streets, highways, or rights of way.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 207 of 2025, adopt local law for introductory number 11 of 2025, a proposed local law amending Village of East Hampton Code, Chapter 196, noise, Section 196-1, prohibited noises, evidence of violation, A10.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. Thank you. Did that on the fly. That was really good.
Very smooth.
I would like to thank Dave Collins, and I would like to thank Marcos. As you go through these items that we just approved, you realize there's so much money that is being spent in fixing up all of our structures and our buildings and the roofs at Main Beach. And this has been put off for so long that it's really important that we get this done. I mean, this building has windows, as the chief pointed out to me today, that you can, that are so rotted that you can put your fingers through them. And it's just inappropriate that we should let public buildings fall into disrepair. So I think it's so important. You see a lot of money being spent, but this is really important money that's being spent. These are our village residents' assets that need to be upkept, and I just wanted to thank you both because I know it's a lot of money and I know it's a lot of work, but it's really important that we do this, so thank you both. And before we leave, I would like to ask Jerry, I'm putting you on the spot, Jerry Terz, if you could step up. What I forgot to mention is Trustee Doyle and I, Jerry and the chief all traveled up to Suffolk County about a week ago for a presentation, and I'd just like Jerry to update the public on what this was, because I was so impressed by not only our employees, but employees from all over the county that were receiving these life-saving awards, and I thought maybe you could expand on that a little bit.
Certainly. So last month, we recognized the 17 members of the Department of EMS, both paid staff and our volunteers, for the various life-saving actions that they did. One of the crews in particular, and again, the mayor was there. It was part of a very large contingent. We had 3 drowning victims last June 15th off of Cedar Point, probably one of the most remote places in our district. They responded up there as part of the group. There was one subject who was submerged underwater for about 10 minutes, found to be in cardiac arrest, pulled out of the water, transported via the Sag Harbor Marine Patrol boat to the end of Al Wybrook Road, where it was turned over to our EMS people, led by one of our paid paramedics, Stephen Montalto, probably one of the best providers that you'll ever find. With Chief Mott, again, who's probably one of the very best providers in the entire county, if not beyond. Teresa Reynolds, one of our paid EMTs, Assistant Chief Marielle McGuire. They were the 4 who transported the individual who was still in cardiac arrest. Through their great work, they were able to resuscitate him en route to Southampton Hospital, where he was subsequently released a few days later. So we went up to the Regional EMS Council Awards, where they recognized various EMS providers from throughout Suffolk County. It was also good to note that several other providers who have either worked here in the past or currently work here were also recognized for some just amazing things that they've done with resuscitating people, bringing people back to life. It's a great caliber of folks that we have. They were recognized amongst their peers, amongst politicians, dignitaries, and it was just a really good thing. They were recognized. We all get into this business to help people. Every now and again, our folks get the opportunity to actually save a life and truly make a difference. So
yeah, it was
a very good day.
It was so incredible to me to be there. The room, there was probably about 200 people in the room. There was probably 100 awards given out, and every one of those awards were someone who was saved. And I was like impressed. I'm like, wow, this guys are really, we're saving a lot of people throughout this county. And then I had a conversation with the county doctor afterwards, and he said it's really only about 8% of the people are being saved, which is incredible. That is the amount of people.
With the cardiac incident.
Yeah, with the cardiac incident.
Yeah. So many cardiacs. One of our part-time EMTs that we recognized last month, Dominic Guida, he's actually an assistant chief of the community ambulance where we were at. He was recognized for an exceptionally challenging and tricky save involving an 8-year-old child. That's like an extreme anomaly, that particular type of instance. So that's the caliber of folks that we have here that we bring to our community. So
and that just rolls me into the next thing I'd like you to talk about is that new life-saving station we have in Herrick Park.
So the Tintle family, longtime village residents, made a donation in conjunction with the Louis J. Acampora Foundation. Louis passed away about 25 years ago as a young high school student in Northport, playing lacrosse. His first game, he took a lacrosse ball to the chest, went into sudden cardiac arrest. His family went and they did something extremely productive and proactive, and they pushed for legislation so that when we were looking at our schools, our athletic fields, things like that, there's a requirement for AEDs. The Tintle family wanted to make a donation in memory of Mrs. Tintle's father, Mr. McLaughlin. So they thought the best place would be Herrick Park. So now in the privy, in between the little vestibule area, there is a climate-controlled AED station. It's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's monitored. It's accessible to everyone and anyone. It's a great location for it. I know our DPW is going to work on some signage for some of the different athletic fields, so everybody that walks in that park knows that there's an AED nearby. We had the school there. The mayor was there the other day with us as well, Chief Erickson. So that's a tremendous asset to have there. We all know we've had a number of calls over the years in that park area. It's accessible not only to the people in the park. You had a few hundred people there the other day. We've got events. We've got thousands upon thousands of folks there. There's always the potential. It's a lot easier. We've always got officers on foot patrol. So like the chief alluded to, if they're walking or if they're on bike, they don't have the AED, they've got one there. So it's something that's out there for the public. Hopefully we never have to use it, but it is something there that's going to help keep our folks safe.
Yeah, so the Tintle family who live in the village, or the family who donated that, it's super generous of them, and hopefully, like Jerry said, hopefully we never need it, but God forbid we do. It's right there, and the public can use it, and it's very simple to use, and it's accessible, and yeah, it was just a great donation, and it's so important by our sports fields to have something like that. It's great.
And we're also working with the foundation, the Akampora Foundation, to possibly look at, identify a few maybe other areas of the village, since we have so much activity that we might be able to do something in. So it's a work in progress.
The athletic director, Kathy Masterson, is incredibly grateful for this.
The athletic director from the high school.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, superintendent.
And the other great news is the emergency room opened.
And the East Hampton Village ambulance, East Hampton Village EMS transported the first 911 patient there yesterday.
And what was their turnaround time?
It was quick. It was a blink of an eye. It was a fairly.
What people should know, when a volunteer in East Hampton gets called, it's pretty much a 2-hour commitment for them. Time they respond to headquarters, they get the ambulance, they go to the house, the person is put in the ambulance and they're taken to Southampton Hospital, and then they come back. It's a 2-hour minimum turnaround time. So this should cut down a lot of that and get the ambulances back in service even quicker.
Hopefully so.
Yeah. So,
thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. So I'm going to look for a motion to close this meeting and then go into executive session to speak about real estate, personnel, and legal stuff.
I make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
All right. All in